microphone right now, because I want to make sure you hear me. I pledge allegiance to the funk of the universal unfolding, that I may be free to express myself to the fullest. Grant me that I may inherit from you an abundance of love, peace, joy, and happiness. It's time that we make a change for the spiritual oneness. Don't you be one? Don't you want to be? Don't you want to be one with the spirit? I mean, that is the purpose of life. Didn't you know? Find your spirit, connect yourself within, then all the life problems will come to an end. The voices speak loud. No, you're not crazy. You're not losing your mind. That's right. It's called a spiritual oneness, baby. Connect. Get tight. Starlight, star bright. How I wish tonight that all the people of the world would unite and take flight in your universal unfolding. Spread your wings and fly. Spread your wings and fly. Spread your wings and fly. Fly away. Fly away in your universal unfolding. So take it easy, 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 real easy. Spread your wings and fly. Make it mellow. Make it mellow. Fly away. Make it mellow. Make it mellow. In your universal unfolding. Make it mellow. Make it mellow.
Real mind with a mellow. Yeah. Real mind with a mellow. Sow the seed, consult the weed, be wise of deed, hack the holy feet. The love is real. Yeah, man, the love is real. Inhale the wisdom, beat the system, the melodome. No place like home. The love is real. The love is real. We're not alone in the melodome. The best souls roll, we set the tone. The love is real. The love is real. Connect to the flow, then you will know. Feeling rebound, through taking farm, and the love is real. Raise the vibration, create the sensation. Let's meditation or emancipation, yeah. The creation in the melodome. We never alone. Welcome home. The love is real. Yeah, free your mind with the melodome.
If you keep it real, you keep the real ones.
All right. Welcome everybody to the Mellow Dome. Breaking the Chains of Addiction, Volume 2. Tonight we got Josh from Iron Realm Media, and we got Jeremy from I Want to Know More. You won't be seeing him on screen. He's over the phone. Much love. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Josh, Jeremy, what's up, fellas?
What's going on, Austin?
Not much.
How are y'all doing tonight?
I'm good. I just got my tooth pulled yesterday, so I mean, I'm a little sore, but I feel fucking great. I feel a lot better. How are you guys doing today?
Same shit, different toilet. You know how it is.
Yeah. Well, as everyone knows, go ahead, Jeremy. Sorry, go ahead, Bubba.
Oh, I just said what he said.
Yeah, okay. All right. So tonight it's a little different thing, obviously. Tonight is something that's very dear to my heart, is Breaking the Chains of Addiction. It's the second volume 2, I like to say. And before we get into it, I'd like to dedicate this show to my brother from another mother, my best friend, died of an overdose. Shout out to, he literally was my brother. Like, we might not have been blood, but we grew up together. He's my best friend. Overdosed on pain medicine. He was an awesome guy. Will Lugo. We shared the same first name. Talented guy. He wrote music. He made beats. That's my jersey he's wearing in that picture. I still own that. I still have that jersey. He died May 20th, 2012. His birthday comes up February 24th. So big shout out to my brother Will. And this one's for you, brother. I'll see you on the other side. All right. So got that out the way. All right. So Breaking the Chains of Addiction, guys. This is obviously something that is important. Will Lugo, Lugo. And I know for the feedback I got on the last show was really good. A lot of people really it really resonated with them. So, and I love that. That's what I wanted. And I think it's important to talk about. And no, he was not my real life brother. We are not related. I actually just spoke to his mom tonight. Her name's Rose. God bless her soul. I love her so much. And if you're listening, Rose, I love you. But yeah, so tonight's gonna be it's gonna be a great show. Great therapy for all of us. We got Josh and Jeremy on tonight. They're gonna share some of their stories, some of their past experiences, dealing with addiction, previous battles in their life, and all that good stuff. And then after these conversations, maybe it'll inspire somebody who would want to come on and share a little bit of their story. And we're going to be doing that the second half of the show. We're going to have a little break, and then that's about it. So which one of you guys want to get into it first, actually?
Well, I didn't get to hear very much of Jeremy's story last time, so I'd be really interested to be able to have Jeremy jump in and share that.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
I know he was biting at the bit too, because last show he had that connection problem and all that stuff. And if you guys haven't heard his story, then you really, sit down. You're ready for it. Go ahead, brother. Floor is yours.
Well, all right. Well, had a pretty normal childhood. I'm an only child. I always wanted a sibling. Both my parents worked growing up, due to how things are. And so pretty much from the time I was 12, they worked third shift. So when I would get home from school, they would leave about 5 or 6, and then I was pretty much all by myself. And I believe one of the worst things you can give a growing young man is too much unsupervised time. And I always felt lonely, always looking for companionship with somebody, because I lived in a real rural area. There really wasn't nobody around that was my age. So, then I got into high school, got to running with the wrong crowd, started doing, pills and smoking pot, drinking, acid, uh, you know, didn't really get bad on it. I never thought that it was going to turn into a problem. Like, I always thought, hey, I got to control on this. So you fast forward a few years, I get married right out of high school, married my high school sweetheart. We had a kid. And when my son was 2, he was diagnosed with a extremely rare disease. It was called hemolytic uremic syndrome. At the time, people in the whole world had what he had. So we had a lot of dealings with the hospitals. We was in and out up there, 3 times a week for treatments. And, I was using drugs then to cope with the pain, because I was told that my son, if he lived, would not ever have a normal life. So, that just kind of sent me off into a kind of a dark place. And I really thought that place was dark. I didn't know what darkness was until a few years later. But, all this time I thought, well, shoot, I can quit this anytime I want, which at that time I was just, smoking pot, taking pills. I'd do some coke and whatnot. And then the day came that he passed away for the first time. And then it felt like there was a hole that opened up in my soul, man. Like, just seeing him there on that table, on that bed like he was. And, they brought him back, but, he was pretty much just a vegetable. And we had to sign papers to bring him home so he could, die comfortably at home. And it just ripped me apart, man. And about 2 weeks later, I was able to sit there with him and, hold his hand and sing him a song as he was taking his last breath. And man, it was like part of me that day died. So I kind of went off the deep end. Like, I'm sorry, give me just a sec. So I just kind of went off the deep end, man. Pretty much, if I could get my hands on it, I would do it in excessive amounts. And, it just, looking back now, it really bothers me, because, I became a really big piece of crap, man. I was a thief. I was a liar. I manipulated people. Whatever I had to do to get my next high is what I done. I mean, whether it meant I was going to break in somewhere and steal stuff or what. And, it bothers me now that like 2 years later after I lost my son, I lost my mom. And what bothers me is she never got to see me who I am today. After she died, I went a little further off the deep end, and man, that's when I got started doing crack and heroin. I went head over heels on meth and started making meth. And when you make meth, you've got plenty. So, and just after a few years of that, man, I was just trying to fill that hole that those incidents had opened up. I wanted to feel something other than what I was feeling. It was just so painful and so dark. And you know, one day I woke up and I looked and I got to thinking about the choices I had made. And I'd put myself in some really bad positions. I mean, I put myself being homeless. I was kind of a transient. Wherever I could crash my head is where I would crash my head. And, I woke up one morning and was like, man, you're so much better than this. And so that point I decided, I'm going to get up out of this. I was at rock bottom. I don't think I could go much lower than what I was. And, I decided, like, man, I've got to get myself up out of this. Like, I'm so much better than this. This is not me. This is not who I am. This is not ever who I've been. And, just little by little, I kept driving through. That day, I didn't touch anything for quite a while. And, along the way, I've had some relapses. When I met my wife, that was one of the key turning points. I was already on the right track. After my son died, let me clarify this. Me and my ex-wife now, we got divorced. So I met the person I'm married to now, Lexi. She has been just such a empirical role on my life change. Like, just meeting her wanted me to be even more of a better person. And, I've had a few relapses, about 5 years ago, maybe 6. Yeah, it's been about 6 years ago. I got on pain pills and whatnot. And, I every time I've come off of things, this is what lets me know I'm stronger than what I ever thought I was. Looking back, is, man, I did all that myself. I never went to no clinics. I just locked myself in rooms and wouldn't come out for 2 or 3 days until, I was wasn't sick anymore for the most part. And, it was just a one day at a time thing. And, by the grace of the Father above, man, I've been completely clean for going on 5 years now. Like, I can't believe, just looking back, how much, I was able to overcome, back when I was about 8, 9 years ago, I had a religious experience where I believe I had met God. I was, even though I had overcome the drugs and everything, there was still this hole in my life and just this emptiness. And, I grew up in church, but, I kind of turned away from believing in a creator thanks to, scientism and all that. And honestly, after my son died, if I believed in a God, I really did not like the guy because he took my boy away from me. And looking back, that is just not the way I should have been. But, I was laying in bed one night and I was like, God, if you're real, I'm ready. I'm tired of feeling like this, man. And man, it was like, after I said that, it was like, I don't know, it was like the weight just lifted up off my shoulders. And, for the first time in so long, I felt something other than emptiness, than, this black hole. And man, it's just been an awesome ride since then. He has brought me through so much. He, helped open my eyes to a lot of things. I think a lot of us, truthers, we've had like experiences with addictions and other traumatic events. And I believe that's why we're able to see through a lot of the deception that a lot of people can't see through, because we've had to already change our whole perception of our reality. You know, when you think you've got a grip on everything, and one day you realize, like, man, I've got control over nothing. It's a rude awakening, and I think that's a lot of why us truthers, we have an experience in the past that we have, we've hit rock, we've had to rock bottom, we've had to change our worldviews. And oh, sorry about that ramble there.
No, man, that's great. But yeah, it's damn, I just lost my train of thought. What I was about to say. Like my paradigm got shattered, right? Like my whole life was fucked. But how old were you when you lost your son?
I was 22 years old.
And how long were you using? Like how many years were you going through with it?
Well, I started it started smoking pot. I started smoking pot when I was about 15, but it really didn't transpire into other things till I was about 18. I got into different crowds that was doing different things, and you know I just wanted to fit in. Growing up alone, that's just all I ever wanted to do, was just fit in. And I was not real popular in high school because I never understood why people were trendy. Like, I didn't feel the need to go out and buy this month's pair of shoes, or fix my hair this certain way because it's in style this month, or dress this way because they seen it on a video and they thought it was cool. But if you didn't do those things, you stuck out like a sore thumb, and man, people just singled you out.
Yeah.
I was just trying.
Go ahead.
I was just trying to find anywhere I could to just fit in, and that crowd is where I got accepted, and so that where it went from there.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily have that problem. Because I got hooked on it. I was in my 20s. I was like 22 or something like that, and it started with Roxy's and painkillers, and then went all downhill from there. But that I remember hearing the story when you first shared your story. You were in the woods, and I watched that video, and man, I was crying the whole time, dude, watching that. Just it resonated with me so much, and I'm sorry that you went through all those troubles and tribulations, and losing a child. I can't imagine that. Um, that's something and losing a parent, like that's rough. I've been through that. Both mine are gone. And just hearing, the conversations me and you've had with each other, and just how you're carrying yourself now, it's a great testimony, really. I really appreciate it, man. I appreciate you and your friendship. And, you even send me text messages, like, we vibe together really well, man. And I appreciate you. And I appreciate you coming on and sharing some of your stories, man. Really.
Well, hey, I appreciate you having me on, and I appreciate you as well. Like, we've just kind of vibed ever since I first called into the show.
Yeah, man.
Like
Oh yeah.
you and Jen are the main reasons I actually have a YouTube channel now.
Hell yeah. Putting out great stuff too, dude. Great stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. So was it So how long have you like not touched anything? If you don't mind me asking, would you say 6, 5 years since your last
Yeah, I haven't
relapse?
touched anything other than I smoked my bud, but I
Yeah.
hadn't touched anything in like 6 years.
Would you say it became easier when you came across certain truths, or as your journey into that? Would you say, um, because for me, people say, oh, it's like they deal with it day by day, and it's like, recently, like I have no intentions on going back to that life. It's not like I wake up and have some type of trigger or some urge. I don't have the urge. It actually makes me sick to my stomach just thinking about hitting a meth pipe or something. Like, ugh. Like my body cringed when I was doing it. Like my body's telling me no, my mind's saying yes. I'm puking in between hitting the pipes. It's insane. But
Hey, Jeremy,
yeah,
what
I'll
was your
never
drug
go
of
back to that.
choice? Did you have one specific
Uh,
one that just kept calling you back?
the one that my drug of choice was meth, but the one that was hardest to kick was heroin.
Yeah, for sure.
The withdrawals from heroin, man. I mean, I didn't shoot up very much because I didn't like needles. I ain't gonna say I never did, but it wasn't nothing I did very often or very many times. But I snorted a lot of heroin, and man, just coming off them first like 3 days off heroin is, oh my gosh, like that's how I know like I'm much stronger than I realized. Because I mean, all I had to do in any of those days was make a phone call, and somebody would have delivered, But I wrote it out. I'm so proud of myself for that. I mean,
You
I don't know
should
a
be.
lot of
Yes,
people
you
that can
should.
honestly say that.
Right. Yeah, you should be. I couldn't do it cold turkey. Ain't no motherfucking way. I'm gonna keep it real. I couldn't. I couldn't.
I mean,
I
that
definitely
first
needed
day I
assistance.
thought I was going to die. I ain't going to lie, but you know, just day
Hmm.
by day,
Even
looking
with
back.
right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, even with things like kratom, you know, it's fucking miserable, dude. Being dope sick. Oh my gosh, I never want to have that feeling again. Never.
Me either.
Skin crawling under your, you know, you just a little touch is like, do not touch me. Sensitive.
Right.
Feels like your skin's moving, like the underneath your skin. It's weird, and you feel like
The
microwaved
hardest part
almost.
for
Your
me,
Go
the
ahead, bro.
hardest parts for me was like at night when you would try to like sleep. It just feels like electricity going all through your body. That was one of the worst for me.
Yeah, for sure, man. And then the meth, that was my choice. That was my absolute go-to. That was the one I'm doing all day throughout the day. It was insane, especially when I started smoking it. And I knew once I started smoking it, it was going to become that, because I was snorting it for the longest time and it would hurt so bad. Like you'd want to like smack the other side of your face. Like if you snorted it up your right nostril, you want to like smack the left side of your face just to try to get the mind off, because it burns behind your ear. It's like, oh my
Burns
God, this is
so
good
bad.
shit. Like that's like, oh, this is good stuff. Like it's
I know,
disgusting.
right?
It's so
Both your
disgusting.
eyes will be watering. You're like, oh, that's good.
Yes. Yes. It's disgusting, man. And then or you're gagging because of the smell, and then the taste is, oh my God. Yeah, I'll never do that again, man. Never do that. And so much respect to you, brother. Like really. And I think that's why me and you clicked so much. It's we have a lot in common, you know what I mean? And uh dude, just keep doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? You're an inspiration to a lot of people. You definitely are an inspiration to me. And that story of yours is very heartfelt. If you guys haven't caught it yet, go check it out on his channel. It's the 100 sub celebration video. And it's very, very heartfelt, very genuine and real. And you get to know who Jeremy is a little bit. So
Well, I
But
appreciate that, Austin.
yeah, man. Yeah. So Josh, um, what kind of what do you got to share with us, brother?
I will say that I saw black tar heroin once working for a roofing company. They stopped by. I was in the back of the truck. They swung through. Somebody grabbed some, and we were out. That was about the closest I've ever come knowingly to heroin, but for the grace of God. And I suppose if I had to put a theme to my story, it would be that, but for the grace of God. But for the grace of God, I've managed to stay out of prison. But for the grace of God, I've never had to kill anyone or accidentally killed anyone. But for the grace of God, I'm still here. Um, my drug of choice was actually cannabis. And I think this is where I'm going to I got clean with, took years. I took a little AA, a little NA. There was a program, a Christ-based recovery program called Celebrate Recovery. Use that, and then just sort of once I got my brain fog lifted, my neurons started firing again. I started reading more and more books. And one of those books was Emotional Intelligence and Why It Might Be More Important Than IQ. And that book, I think, really kind of topped it off and basically concreted everything else that led up to that. I'm an old head. I come from the generation where I was in diapers, grabbing cans of beer off the coffee table and, drinking them as fast as I could, and running away as fast as I could. I really got into it maybe about 14. My sister was dating a guy in college, and he would get me all the Miller High Life I could afford to pay for. And
The Union beer.
right. And my thing was I love to drink alone. One of the things I picked up from AA and NA and those 12-step programs was, you're only as sick as your secrets. And especially when you're doing a show or a podcast on the interwebs, again, you're just only as sick as your secrets. And I've always tried to be as open and honest as I possibly can, just for that reason, because that way nobody gets to try to come back and say, oh, but he was hiding this thing, or, oh, but did you know about this? And, just, it's just easier for me if I just throw it all out there. That way, I don't have to keep track of what I did say or what I didn't say, or, who knows what. And again, like being honest and truthful, it's just a lot less energy than trying to juggle all the lies and all the bullshit. It's just out there. Here it is. Here's me. Looking back, I'm pretty sure I was sexually molested as a kid. It's one of those things that I'm pretty sure has been blocked out. Only because I show so many of the symptoms of someone who was sexually molested and has blocked it out of their memory. Being really hard to potty train as a little kid, wetting the bed till I was 9-10 years old. Even with holding bowel movements, just holding it in as long as I could till I'd just shit myself, or I'd then have to waddle off to the bathroom. And in that is a lot of shame and a lot of guilt, especially depending on how your parents handle whatever it is that's causing this mental blockage that's not allowing you to develop physically the way you should be. Forgive my dogs. They're going to be a pain in the ass, I'm afraid.
It's all good. I got children that are a pain in the ass, so it's all good. Right.
So there was that. There's the hypersexualization at a really, really young age. I had a cousin that was adopted. She was Indonesian. And for some reason, there was things going on there that should never have been going on with two young children. I don't understand how it started. And it's just one of those things that just kind of fizzled off with age. We're like, oh, what the fuck is this? And it was just kind of, but it really, the neural pathways that it set as far as my relationships sexually or just with women in general, I think caused a real problem. So I think there's a whole lot going on upstairs that was really jacked up to begin with. But not the least of which was this idea that I see shit around me that just doesn't make sense. And it doesn't feel right to me. And I know they want me to do that. And I guess, everybody feels this struggle and they are all just doing their best to suppress this urge of what the fuck is going on around here. And they're just better at it than I am. And with that comes a lot of shame and guilt. But for the grace of God, I survived my shame and guilt. Let me rephrase the theme of my story. Because there was a lot of shame and guilt. But yeah, basically started with alcohol. And with those neural pathways, that was my fallback. So I thought for a while that was my drug of choice because it was socially acceptable. So what the fuck did it matter? I mean, I'm 17 years old, right? I've got a mullet. I've got cowboy boots. I've got a belt buckle the size of a dinner plate, right? I could walk into the grocery store and grab a bottle of tequila and go to the cashier and just check out. At a junior, 11th grade, and I'm drinking a bottle of tequila a night because I could. Just, it's there. It's easily accessible. But it was once I found that cannabis and all that endocannabinoid system in my brain was finally satisfied, then things really started to kind of make sense. Oh, I think I see. Maybe I'm not so fucked up. Maybe it's you all. Maybe it's all of you guys that are just fucked up. And there's a lot of narcissism involved in that, where all of a sudden it's all about me because you guys are fucked up and I'm smarter than you. I can see things better than you. I can see all the bullshit and you guys are just stupid. So it becomes all about me. And that sort of, again, helped define how I handle my relationships, because if I can't get the beer and I can't get the pot, and then all of a sudden I need something. And it was pills, it was crack, it was meth, it was coke, it was whatever I could get my hands on that would make not fitting in, I think, a little bit easier, especially because I had all this, guess what, guilt and shame around cannabis. My parents, it was horrible. My mom's, you can't have pot in the house. They'll come and they'll take my house away. They'll just seize all my assets. It'll all be gone. You cannot do it. Drugs are bad.
It'll be all your fault.
Right. So now it's just this horrible thing that I'm sneaking around doing, getting high. But it's the only fucking thing that actually makes me feel complete, because it's completing that whole system in my brain that was been deprived my whole life. So I think once I kind of got past that, I did realize that maybe I was headed down the wrong path. And it was around 17, 18 years old. I was senior in high school. And I thought, all right, it's time to put my head on straight and just go with the flow. Maybe I'll just join the department, the ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. That's what I'll do. I'll become a federal agent. So I ran over to the Air Force recruiter's office and wanted to sign up. And they was like a military police thing. And well, it turns out I had a paraphernalia charge somewhere on there. And they couldn't quite get the security clearance, or he didn't even know about being able to get a waiver for the security clearance. So when he said, sorry, there's nothing we can do, I just said, all right, thanks, no problem. Turned around, walked across the hallway to the Marine Corps recruiter's office. And I said, hey, what kind of stuff you got that's really cool? It's not like the military police, but, I want to be a ATF agent. What can you get that might translate into a good resume position for that? So we had a little sit down, and it took about 15 minutes before he managed to find himself a waiver for that little paraphernalia charge and get me signed up. And it wasn't too much longer that I was then headed to boot camp, believe it or not. I had, in the meantime, become an actor in my high school plays and theaters. Got bored trying to keep myself busy and got into theater. And got offered a scholarship for performance theater to the local university just down the way. And I'm like, oh, all right, that's going to be great. Sweet. All I got to do is, not go in the Marine Corps now, because I can just go ahead and get my my college education this way. I don't gotta fucking go try to kill people or any of that bullshit. I can just do this. Like, hey, Marine Corps, look, I got this scholarship. You know, thanks, but no thanks. Is there any way I can get out of here? And they said, no, you're fucked, kid. And yeah, I found myself standing on the yellow footprints. But again, lasted about a year. I was found myself on the back of one or two massive bulls, a few green horses that just needed to get saddle broke. I was a wrestler for a little bit before high school and little league, so needless to say, my back was a little more out of shape, maybe, or I don't know. It was my back was shot by the time I was trying to finish my advanced infantry training. So after about 365 days, I was right back home drinking like it was nobody's business, because boy, did I pick up a decent drinking habit in the Marine Corps. But I also did acid for the first time in the Marine Corps, and I did coke for the first time in the Marine Corps, and I did meth for the first time in the Marine Corps. So it's not like the Marine Corps was a particularly good influence on my life.
Interesting.
Right. So
That should tell you something.
it really should. And it was really, by this time, my brain was just needing more. I think it was an obsession. It had become an ingrained part of my personality, where I was just like the party guy. Oh, look, there's Josh. He's drinking again. He'll kill that 12 pack and that bottle of Wild Turkey 101. Why 101? Because it's Saturday and Josh doesn't drink anything less than 100 proof on the weekends. And that's just sort of who I was. And that was my personality. That was who I had become. So not only, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I never picked up the drinking. Never. I did drink a lot when I was
Good for you.
I don't want to stop your
No.
story. I was very into it. But I was saying, like, I did do a lot of it when I was young, though, because I was the only one that had a beard out of my whole group of friends. So it was like, all right, you got the beer, give him the money. He's going inside to try and get the beer. And I'm like buying. It got to a point where the guy in the store would give me a cardboard box, because I would just buy a bunch of the OEs, and, you know, the 32 ounce, I'd fill the cardboard box up with OEs, walk out, and they'd be like, yeah, you did it again. And we drink, you know, but I got all that done before I was 21. And that's when, you know, the other stuff came up. Found that Roxy. I'm like, look at this little ass pill. This ain't gonna fuck me up. Shit. Doop.
Uh-huh.
Next thing you know, then I'm snorting it, you know,
Right.
smoking on foil. And then what's meth? Let's do meth. It's like the first time I did meth, me and Kaylee, it was New Year's was coming up. And it's like, oh yeah, let's party. Let's do, what do you want to do? You know, well, you know, so-and-so sells meth. It's like, oh, well, you know, I don't know. We talked about it. It's like, next thing you know, we had a pipe and a bag and fucked our lives up for good, you know?
5 days
Because,
later, this is a good idea. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
You know, that's all we were doing, dude. It's like we were doing that and fucking like rabbits, you know, and it turns you into a monster. Like I was saying today to Kaylee, it's like we were talking about it. We know somebody who, a friend of hers just got arrested, and well, a past friend that she's been trying to guide to help, hey, get clean, you know, let's help you get your family back or whatever. So we were talking about all that, and we were both explaining how it's like a demon possession almost. Like you are possessed. It literally turns you into something else that you do not like or respect or anything, you know, and that shit changes you. It chemically, it makes you unbalanced. I still suffer from smoking all that shit. I still have, I mean, that's possibly the reason I can't fucking sit still and I gotta stand up during these shows and I'm moving around. People are like, oh, he moves around a lot. Well, that's probably damage. I know I got a lot of holes up here from smoking and snorting that shit. You know, there's still something up there though. But yeah, but the alcohol, you know, that I don't know. Thank God too. You know, I can make a mean drink. Now, do you drink today? Are you able to have a beer? Or are you like, no, you're gonna go off the deep end if you have one? You know?
No, I can drink. It's very rarely do I. Um, we've got beer in there we've had in the fridge for months. It's not the obsession. I broke the obsessive pattern, and that's what really freed me. Um, being able to get to that point was, but for the grace of God. I'm not much of a religious guy. I'm not much of a biblical guy. Uh, but I would not be here today were it not for the words in that book and for the power of Christ. There's no other way to put it, because it was that peace of mind, that peace beyond understanding that comes when you call for it, that is sort of undeniable. You can almost do it like a
Amen,
science
brother.
experiment. You can just, and there's no other way to explain it. That's why that's the credit. I try to give credit where credit is due, because I've tried
That's
it.
real.
It works. And it's the peace beyond understanding. And once you can actually learn in your brain what it means to surrender it to God, then it starts to become easy, and you can start to lay those neural pathways the same way where waking up in the morning to take a drink or waking up in the morning to take a hit becomes so habitual that you can't not. Looking at the world with new eyes is the same way. It takes practice, and it takes conscious practice, and you have to practice at practicing, and perfect practice makes perfect. And once you can get those pathways set, and then you start to, like ruts, as the wagons would go through, you dig those neural pathways. And once those neural pathways are set, then that's your new habit. That's what your new thought process is. And that's, I think, where the key becomes, is that's what, how sobriety is so powerful. And I think why relapse can be such a powerful tool in sobriety, and why so many people do it. It sucks because a lot of people also don't make it back out of that, because there's still those old pathways of shame and guilt. And fuck, I fucked up again. They all, I know they knew I wouldn't make it. I know they knew it. They were just telling me they wished me the best, but they know what a fuck up I am. I know what a fuck. I knew I wouldn't make it. God damn it. And there you are, fucking tinkling on the foil and blasting off again. It's a vicious cycle, but I think that's why the relapse, it helps remind you that it's a fucking vicious cycle. And every once in a while, that little voice, that little addict behavior likes to poke its head up. You just got to squash that shit down. But remember, that's the reminder. That's how easy the fucking relapse is, man. It's just that one little trigger that's going to say, fuck it. And so
That is
much.
true. That's very true. Because, like I said earlier, I don't ever have those urges and stuff like that. Well, that's because I made it to where I'm not going to. I'm not. There's no booby trap set up for me anywhere. Like I cleared my path out. I made sure, like I
And
got
that's
rid of all the
honesty.
contacts. We left all of that stuff behind us completely. We talk about being reborn, like born again, like that was a real rebirth. Like, whoa, our whole life was new and just starting completely over, completely from scratch. Like before that, we were living in a shithole where we were all on one bed, my wife and my boys, and when it would rain, there'd be a bucket on the mattress in between me and Kaylee that would dink, 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 and then start filling up the bucket throughout the night. That's where we started. And that was like the rock bottom, and we just changed our whole lives. And there was hiccups along the way, like you said, but since we've been doing it it's like we set this foundation. We were been building this foundation, and now it's done. Now we're just building on top of this foundation. So, and that's what a lot of you are now seeing. You don't have none of you even know that me, you probably can't even comprehend that me. I was like 138 pounds and a piece of shit, on the verge of losing my children. Just lost my mom, who, it was devastating. It sucked, but yeah, we worked out a way to where we didn't have booby traps set up for us, and we were each other's support system. We had a little bit of another support system through the program we went through. You know, there's like other couples like us, me and her, that were on the same mindset as us, like to change their whole life and to not die off this shit. Everyone we know is dying left and right from this shit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let me read something real quick because you reminded me of something. I posted it with the link to this show. But so you see heroin, I see low self-esteem. You see meth, I see fear. You see alcohol, I see social anxiety. You see track marks, I see depression. You see a junkie, I see someone's son. You see a prostitute, I see someone's daughter caught in addiction. You see self-centeredness, I see addiction has taken over. You see a pillhead, I see overprescribing of opiates. You see someone unwilling to change, I see someone hasn't connected with them yet. You see denial, I see someone hurting. Sorry. You see someone nodding out, I see God showing us they need help. You see the end, I see the beginning. You see a dope fiend, I see a future success story. You see them, I see me. So, you know, like there's always layers to all of this. You know what I mean? It's not cut and paste, you know, black or white. There's shades of gray, you know. It's and it's a process, you know. So if there's people out there that are struggling right now, you know, it's to I know it sounds corny, but to like make a change, you have to like be the change. You know, definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over every day and expecting a different outcome. And that's what me and Kaylee were doing. We're doing the same thing and thinking the same how are we going to get out of this hole and get better and we're going to do the same thing, you know. More crooked shit, more thieving and all types of shit, and then we'll be better, you know, but it's all mindfuck. No, we're not. It's the same thing over and over. You're like trapped in a glass box. You can see out, but you can't fucking get out. You know, it's right there in front of you, and the whole time, I'm better than this. I'm so much better than this. What am I doing with myself? You know? But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. I just wanted to read that. You know, with the whole insecurities and stuff like that and the psychological mindfuck that it comes with all this, you know, there's a lot of layers, you know.
There is, and again, and it's still never ending. So also in the Marine Corps, I picked up a real sexual deviancy of enjoying strippers. So it was really kind of my goal when I got back home was I really wanted to have a threesome, and I figured, you know, getting a stripper would be the best first step. So that was sort of my goal, and that's when I met my first wife, my practice wife. I think I called her in the show the other day. Somebody really liked the practice wife reference. Because yeah, she was a stripper, and we were together just about a year before she got pregnant. My son is 20 years old now, just to kind of give a little bit of time frame of where we are here. And again, we like to use together. We like to drink together. We like to get fucked up and do fucked up shit, I guess is the only good way to say it, without getting too graphic. But eventually she sort of got into this point where I'm not one to badmouth anybody's personal relationship, so don't. She says I'm not one to deny her. She says she found God. Okay, it's whatever. So she got clean, and I was expected to tag along. Now, throughout the years, I've managed to, again, just like you, Jeremy, I was a manipulator from Jump Street. That's how I learned to fit in, was by manipulating people. And with the addictions came the lying and the stealing. And the lying was so ingrained that I was just a habitual liar. It was disgusting, the things I would lie about, but mainly it was for my own preservation, whether so that I could get high or so that I could protect this version of myself that I thought I was presenting to other people. You know, the one that's not using, the one that's got it all under control. Of course, that was all the delusions in my head. But it was where I really started to try to actually get clean and get sober, and where I started to first catch those glimpses of my true self, that me that I remember before all the drugs and alcohol and hops and bong water. And then I realized, oh shit, that's right. I was going to be better. I was going to be something other than whatever the fuck I've become. Whatever this is, that's not who I am. And I remembered that person that wasn't fitting in and saw society in an all fucked up way and was like, oh shit, that's right. I have a certain power here. And then I started getting into the legal research, and that was a whole waking up process. But the waking up process, again, is sort of like a microcosm to the macrocosm of addiction and breaking those chains of recovery, because it's a crash and a fall and a hitting rock bottom and building yourself back up to be like, oh my God, that's right. I have power. We're special. This place is special. We're here because we're special. We're here now because we're special. And so it's the whole microcosm, macrocosm. But it was right after I had 2 years clean and sober. I had no alcohol, no cannabis, no pills, no nothing. It was 100% clean and sober after 2 years, when my wife wakes me up by throwing a pregnancy test at me. And I'm bleary-eyed looking at her. What the fuck do I know? Positive, negative? Are you pregnant or not? What does this mean? I'm looking. She says, yeah, it's not yours. I'm taking the kids and I'm leaving you. In the process of finding God, she also found her new husband, who was the lead singer of the worship band. No, he played guitar. She was the singer.
Oh, wow.
He played guitar of the worship band. So he knocked her up. We got a divorce. They got married and are living happily ever after. So again, there really aren't any ill feelings anymore, because it really was a practice wife. I fucked that relationship up so hard. I mean, it was doomed. It was absolutely doomed. We were way too young.
Now I know what not to do.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. And I think
I got a couple of those.
Well, sometimes it takes a couple, at least.
Well, see, I've never looked at it as my ex-wife being my practice wife, but hearing you say that, looking back, yeah, I learned a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Surely, just think of what a better husband, a better partner you are now, because of all the bullshit you went through and put that woman before her through. And that's exactly how I see it. My current wife, believe it or not, her husband left her for a guy in the church, and they ran off to be together.
Synchronicities,
right? We found each other on Plenty of Fish, on an online dating app.
Nice.
It was like 2 hours from just deleting her profile. They turned it into.
I remember that app.
Yeah. She's like, all right, we'll just open the app, and for any guy that says, ooh, I like your eyes, we'll just take a shot. And they just get all fucked up. And there's a whole thing. But yeah, we actually met online, and she wasn't too far away. And she wasn't interested in getting remarried because of her practice husband. I wasn't particularly interested. I wasn't not interested, but it just wasn't on my radar for getting remarried. And we've spent like 7-8 years together. And then I finally convinced her that, I think I'd rather just put a ring on it if I had to. So she agreed, and it was small, simple, no problems.
Cool. That's cool. I got a ring on it, but we still gotta get married. But she has my mom's ring on, and she got me a ring. But
there are benefits, I guess, to going down to the courthouse and doing it in front of the justice of the peace and having it done that way. There's tax benefits. There's
yeah,
benefits
what
to
it
it.
benefits us more not to be right now. So she understands that, but I do want to do it. But so yeah, I forgot to do something at the beginning of the show, and then after that, let's play a quick break because I have to rinse my mouth with some salt water
Right on.
and get something bottled water or something. So let me bring this up. This show is sponsored by dun 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 Grounded Extracts. GroundedExtracts.com. Find in nature what you thought only the unnatural world could offer. Great products, guys. Absolutely great products over there. You can go check it out. GroundedExtracts.com. Tell them Austin sent you. And then my website is back up. It's another website, realmellowdome.com. Realmellowdome.com. And this product, the Mellow Dome, is not, Etsy said no. So, but you guys can reach out to me if you want this product. I sent out a couple. I still have some left. KaijuKing.87 at Gmail. KAIJU King.87. Kaiju, like the Japanese monster. But yeah, so groundedextracts.com, guys. Check it out. And then for the Melodome t-shirts, you can go to realmelodome.com. And that's about it. Guys, so what we're going to do is I'm going to play a song, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to drop the link because I seen a couple people saying that they wanted to come on. Rico, if you're still awake, you're more welcome to come on, brother. But yeah, and then Josh and Jeremy, guys, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. We're obviously going to keep furthering this conversation, of course, but I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, and I really appreciate the both of you.
No, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on. It's again nice to not have to be the host of a show every now and again.
Hell yeah.
So I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate all that you do, and yeah, just keep at it. And I appreciate the chance to be able to sit down and talk to Jeremy. Finally, it's
yeah,
good to,
cool,
good to
man.
hear.
It's been a pleasure.
I've wanted to know more.
Hell yeah. And everybody in the chat, go ahead, Jeremy. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just laughing.
Oh, okay. And everybody in the chat, thank you for being here. Let me do a quick shout out before we go have a quick break. Chris, Bay Area Believer, much love, bro. Ian, Billingtano, Morgan, what's up? Ray, Dr. Law. I don't think that's Dr. Law. I don't know. Is it? Is that a Dr. Apollo? I don't know. Enlightened Dawn, what's up? What's up? Much love. Rico, Tinfoil Hat Sombrero, THC Jack, Derek, what's up? Miss Mays, thank you for being here. Scott, Level Realm, what's up, brother? Allison Briscoe, yes, the shirts are 100% cotton, and you probably got a notification because I just sent them out today. And Mike's, your roster one is on its way. Straight from the house, made with love by my wife Kaylee. Who else we got here? Edward the Christian, much love. Young Love, OG right there. I know Michelle's in here somewhere. Who else? Mary, what's up? Free Flow, he'll be our guest next week. Gonna be talking about dinosaurs. Gonna be a great time. That Flat Fellow, what's up? Yaz Child, Carrie Skates, much love. And yeah, so that's it. All right, cool. David, what's up, man? Free from who? Yo, what's up? Much love. Thank you for being here. Holistic Media, much love. I love your stuff. Captain Mojo, Salted Cedar, Angela, Jolly Man, much love, Angela. Sean must be around here too. Hell yeah. All right, you guys are amazing. And then over on Rockfin, Benjamin Balderson, much love, brother. Mooney. Who else we got? A couple other people. No. I seen Mark in here. All right, cool. Yeah, thank you guys. All right, so quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, and we'll get into it. I'll drop the link and bring some people on. All right. Be right back.
What you see is just illusions. What you see is just illusions. What you see is just illusions. What you see is just illusions.
Take a look around you, what you see is just illusions. Everything goes in circles, but there's no revolutions. They create the problems, then they offer the solutions. We're nothing but going to them, they treat us like subhumans. Take a look around you, what you see is just illusions. Everything goes in circles, but there's no revolutions. They create the problems, then they offer the solutions. We're nothing but going to them, they treat us like subhumans. Repeat after me, I am not free. They're lying to you, they're lying to me. What are they hiding? I'm dying to see. Why is it God that they're trying to be? The acquisition of wealth and power is what they know. They've always been among us, they own us, they run the show. When it comes to making a difference, we ain't moving. Freedom is a fallacy, you're just a free-range human. From the crib to the grave, you live as a slave, and that's just a matter of fact. If you wanna see change, forget all the games, we're gonna just have to attack. This is our world and we're snatching it back. If you don't want it, move off to the side. Not for the cowardly, not for the weak, only the strong come along for the ride. Won't be so simple, I'm not gonna lie, but that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna try. With everything that they're doing to all of us, maybe tomorrow we're all gonna die. Either way, they kill us slowly, dumb us down and make us dopey. Everything you see is fake and all the news you get is phony. It's time we show the people how the elite are so deceitful. It's time we rise up high up enough to expose this evil. Take a look around you, what you see is just illusions. Everything goes in circles, but there's no revolutions. They create the problems, then they offer the solutions. We're nothing but going to them, they treat us like subhumans. Take a look around you, what you see is just illusions. Everything goes in circles, but there's no revolutions. They create the problems, then they offer the solutions. We're nothing but going to them, they treat us like subhumans.
What you see is just illusions. What you see is just illusions. What you see is just illusions. What you see is just illusions.
ODD TV, truth of vision, the one and only. They hate the fact that I'm nosy, but I say fuck it, blow me. I'm a researcher, a real truth seeker. This is my classroom, fool, I'm a school teacher. Prepare to be blown away, everything you know gets thrown away. Take your mind to a whole nother level, put the pedal to the metal with no delay. How much worse must it get before we do something about it? For we are many, they are few, man, we got them surrounded. It's time we think outside the cage where our brains have been placed. The true history of the world has been changed and erased. It's 1984, these things are so Orwellian. Big brother, motherfucker, super totalitarian. Your thoughts being suggested, your speech being suppressed, always being corrected, freedom being oppressed, always under surveillance, in a state of unrest. And if you protest it, they put your ass under arrest. Take a look around you, what you see is just illusions. Everything goes in circles, but there's no revolutions. They create the problems, then they offer the solutions. We're nothing but going to them, they treat us like subhumans. Take a look around you, what you see is just illusions. Everything goes in circles, but there's no revolutions. They create the problems, then they offer the solutions. We're nothing but going to them, they treat us like subhumans.
What you see is just illusions. What you see is just illusions. What you see is just illusions. What you see is just illusions.
All right. All right. So I dropped the link, everybody. I actually need to step away because I thought I had my I gotta pack this hole in my mouth. So if you guys just hold down the fort for 1 sec, I'll be right back. Sorry, guys.
No worries. We can totally
Oh.
fit.
So, Josh, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the spiritual side of addiction? Do you believe that the addictions open you up to, like, say, evil oppression and things of that nature?
Definitely. It's hard to put, almost like it allowed someone to crack the door. And it was not long after
Right.
my son was born, my wife and I had just started renting this really old piece of shit house. It wasn't worth what we were paying. It wasn't, nobody should have been living in it, let alone paying to live there. But part of it, the original part was the old log cabin, and then they had kind of built a plantation house around it. But and like the panel wall of the dining room, you kind of pop it open, and there was the old stairs that would take you up into the attic of the old cabin. And in our drug-induced delirium, we thought it would be a good idea to take a Ouija board up there and have a little seance and see who we could contact. And having heard that they were more powerful if you made your own and poured your own energy into them, we made a nice elaborate little Ouija board, took it up there, and made contact with somebody. I'll be damned if I can remember what she said her name was, but
Bro, you ain't catching me playing with one of those things.
I
No way, dude.
I
That's too.
discourage it at any time of the subject comes up, just for this reason, is because there is almost a delineation between my depravity and sort of the depths I would go before and after that encounter, whatever it was.
That's crazy.
Especially, no, I guess there is no exception. It was just the depths knew no bounds. Everything was just more. Yeah, because addiction and things like that make you retarded. And I don't mean that to be offensive. I mean that in a very literal way. Like I was 14 years old when I could basically get as drunk as I wanted whenever I wanted. And once I was able to, emotionally, that's about as far as I made it, was 14 years old, because my emotions had become retarded because of my addictions. I was emotionally retarded, and I probably still am to a certain degree. But it's
Rico, what's up, brother?
oh sweet. What's up, Rico?
Still muted.
Nope, not yet. But I will say that's what's amazing when you finally do start to get clean, is the maturity as you start to get those days and the weeks and the months and the years of having that clean thought process. You start to finally mature in the areas where you were retarded, and you start to catch up a little bit. And even that in itself creates the wisdom that should be coming with maturity that so many addicts lack. They lack the wisdom because they are so emotionally retarded that it just never does equalize. But once you really start to get that free and clear thinking, then things do start to get easier, for sure.
So, like, did y'all ever, like, either for you and Austin, like, I noticed, like, every time I had quit, just somebody would show up out of the blue and just like, hey, you want some of this? Like, never really happened before, but it seemed like every time I quit, it seemed like somebody would just pop into my life out of the blue and, like, hey, would you want some of this? You know, people I hadn't seen in years. Did y'all ever find that happening to y'all as well?
I did. Absolutely. I don't know if I necessarily saw it as a temptation from somebody bad as opposed to maybe a test from somebody good. Be like, all right, how honest are you with yourself? We've been here a million times before. Is it going to be different this time? Not so much of a, hey, here it is again. Are you going to say no? So it's definitely a thing. But it's sort of that way with.
Rico, you can hear us, right? All right, go try changing your setting, like click your
The little
speaker setting
cogwheel.
on the bottom right, the little icon, and change it to your headphones or something. Like maybe the setting's different. You should be able to change it from like speaker headphone to
If you go to that little cogwheel at the very bottom where the settings are, then you'll pull up the video and the audio. And you
oh
can
yeah,
click
on Restream.
Yeah. That's probably where the disconnect
Maybe
is.
you need to go down a little bit. Maybe the screen set it too large and you just it isn't showing.
Like maybe the settings. Morgan.
Yeah.
You should be able to change it from like.
You're gonna have to turn your radio down.
Turn your. I think your YouTube's on.
Yeah, you want to mute that.
You there, Morgan? I'm not seeing
you.
Yeah,
I was just. Oh, I'm. Settings are. Did it mess up?
Nope, we got you now.
Okay, perfect. I just didn't want to mess up with Rico because I know how frustrating that can be. Are we good?
Yeah, that sucks. Wish we could hear him.
Yes, because I know the 3 dots at the bottom. First there's a mic, then there is the camera, then the 3 dots. And above it says, type a message in the private chat.
No, but if you go to the cogwheel on the settings and then you go to audio and it'll say audio input and audio output, you can change those. And yeah, none of them worked. Damn.
That's a shame.
Sorry. Right. Well, maybe you can figure it out. But Morgan, what's up, brother? What about
as a fellow man, a recovering addict, or however you want to look at it, in recovery, I definitely should probably join the conversation. Being sober and staying sober, especially, like, I know we all have stress, but this past week has been unbelievably stressful with the landlord trying to kick me out and knowing that he's going to do that by getting everything against me, and it's going to affect my disability and like my kids and everything, and sitting here with like nothing against me yet, and all the places like the ODSP and the housing and everything, just sitting there knowing, and you're all going to do this, even though I'm already calling around today going, so everybody, this is what's going on, you all know what's going on, why do we need to go through the emotions now? Oh,
that's good. Got you, Rico.
I hear you. I hear you.
All right, I just had to
exactly, Austin.
All right, cool. Go ahead, Morgan.
Yeah. So I'm understanding as an adult, because that's one of the things that children, as you know, would not be able to understand. They would end up getting themselves arrested, freaking out too much. And I would have to even say to them, it's not wrong that you freaked out. It's just that no matter what, I can't get any further without making sense to people, even though I'm the one that's being enraged. But still, the only answer is I have to find some other way to be able to behave. Yeah, to behave so that I can clearly tell each person who can do anything for the situation when they're saying, see how volatile he is? That's what we're saying. It's diabolical clever. But the only thing is I've got to keep obeying my savior no matter what, no matter how much I want to say. It's just not that easy, except in those situations, and get on your knees and don't get up. This is my answer to me. Don't get up until I can without becoming violent or even rude, because that's what they want. Like they want.
Don't.
My whole entire livelihood's at stake. If only I can just go, screw me then, and I'll go for a walk, and whatever's left when I get back, I'll put back my life together. But you're not throwing me in freaking jail to do your stupid thing. You know what I mean? Like, even if that's what it costs me, but at least I'll still be able to see my kids that night and tell them what happened, and people will be like, that's not right. And you know what I'm saying, right? I have to choose what's more important over my pride or even my convenience or even not being inconvenienced of having to get new stuff or losing things that just matter because they're objects, but they're not my freedom. They're not my, the fact that they're doing these things in the open and I'm calling them on them. But at the same time, I'm doing so without being and without lighting a fire and being sober and having a program that I've been doing for over 6 years and a doctor that knows that. And because of that, I'm making sense. And that's what they swear up and down, that each person they're going to get, because everybody's got something on them. And the landlords know that too. And most people, they can, but I got nothing. It's like, wait 1 second. I have absolutely nothing. I'm right here. Put all the lights on me. I've done nothing wrong. And they're trying to do this, and the place is completely infested with bugs. And instead of taking care of it, they say they brought in some people who didn't take care of it properly. And they say to the women, well, if they're going to complain, well, we'll call CAS on you and tell them that there are bugs here. Anyway, how can they do that? Well, that's because they know how it's set up down there. It works for them in their favor, even though but the bugs are already here. But it doesn't matter to the other organization. They're there to get your kid. They're there to make the landlord happy. So it doesn't matter that I paid my rent and I pay my rent, because you'd say, well, why don't you just pay a direct deposit? That's the first thing this landlord did, because his job is to kick me out, because it's $100 rent for each other person. You go, well, that would already have their eye on you to say, I know. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing the thing where you're calling the police every day going, yes, the thing they're doing today, because they're trying to kick me out every day, as you guys know. And since you guys won't tell them, stop, we do this every day, even though it means I call you every day, have to humiliate myself each and every day to each and every action they try and do. Like, and I have to, because they make each and every action when they're blowing up and then saying that I'm blowing up. You get what I'm saying, right? So, and that's where I'm at, dealing with that every day, all day. And still the Lord's with me, and you were here tonight.
Well, yeah.
And that's what I mean. That's what I mean. You are part of the cure, brother. This
dude, I was just about to say, hopefully this show keeps you, in high spirits and not to where you're going to lose your mind and shit like that,
I don't know why I just did gangster songs.
It's all good. You feel the energy, bro. It's all good.
Dude, I'm so white. Yo.
Yeah, until you're
What's
inside.
up, Rico?
I thought it was different.
Let me bring Ray on first, and then. So Rico, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? I'm great. I'm glad to see you come on here, man.
I can't believe I'm going to do this, because it's like the opposite. I've never done NA or AA, but this is like instead of anonymous, but let's go on the internet and fucking tell everybody everything. I love it.
It's the best.
No offense if AA or NA works for anybody, but I went in once and it just felt like a cult. It felt like brick and mortar church. You know what I mean? Like stand, sit, do this. Like I don't like the Simon Says kind of stuff.
I had to do 180 meetings in 90 days once for a program. 2 meetings a day, dude. Yeah, it was rough, dude.
By the way, anyone that said when I was on Brian's show, Dose of Reality, that they couldn't hear my speech impediment, I'm believing you. So don't lie. Where's the camera? Seriously. This is really weird for me. That's why I didn't talk a lot at Flattoberfest.
Well, it was great meeting you there. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, you too, man.
Rico, I can hear it a little bit. I got to be honest.
Thank you. Me too.
My wife has one, and one of our really, really good friends is a pretty severe one. So it's not like it's, I can hear it, but it's minimal. Very minimal.
I usually have a silky smooth voice. Like you guys would be in love normally.
You should, it's nothing to hide, nothing to worry about, nothing that should keep you.
Well, I'm getting implants, so I'd be an awesome gay right now.
Well, if that's all it takes, if that's what was holding you back, Rico, I'm telling you, more power to you.
Can I say one thing? Can I butt in? One thing about this disease is it wants to get you alone. It pushes all your people away.
Yes.
It makes you do horrible things to people, and it pushes everybody away from you, and then it kills you, and then it gets you when you're alone. I know a kid that died. This is a true story. He had the AA book on his chest. He was from AA. They found him dead, and it was open. And the only thing that was highlighted was, "I was so alone." In the book, he highlighted it, and it was on his chest. It was crazy. So yeah, it's real, man. It'll get you alone, and it will kill you. So you got to try to not do that. And by doing that, talking about it is like one of the best things you could do, because you're fighting it. You don't realize it, but you're fighting it, because it never goes away. Even if you're clean for like 10 years, it's still going to eat away at you. You're going to still get cravings. But a craving is just a feeling, like an emotion. It comes and goes. You got to like look at it like that. Like, yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Did you Ray, did you see my when I called in to Dose of Reality last night?
No, I didn't.
I called in because they were talking about synchronicities and stuff. Man, I could really hear it right now. Sometimes when I think about it, it's worse. And I told the story about there's been a lot of really positive synchronicities, but before my big brother overdosed before Solar Return, about a month before it.
Yeah, I'm
and
sorry.
Thank God
Man.
I was playing drums with Baldini and Jason because I had something to focus on. But I was in a dark place there. And before Flattoberfest, just a week before, Austin, you know this, my little brother OD'd. So these two awesome things. I mean, you're really paying for being social more than speakers and stuff. We're paying to like be around each other. We're traveling to be ourselves again. And both events this year, I was locked in my own head, trying to be myself, I'm not trying to brag, but I am. I'm usually the life of the party, funny, quick, but when you're locked in your head, you just can't. You know what I mean? You're trying to make that first impression, so you're like, I might as well just shut up. And if something comes up organically, a good conversation, which a bunch did, it wasn't a bad time, but I definitely wasn't. No one met me at either one of those events.
Man, I'm so sorry, brother.
You can't invest yourself emotionally where normally you can. You're like, I've got love. And people are like, this guy does have love. And you're easy to give that to people when you start talking. They're like, this person's here, he's listening, and you're caring. Because you're like, you've got that little bit of flex to be able to give. And people can feel that, and you're outgoing. But then when you're inside in your head, it's so harder to get that chi, like that chi ball up and put it out there in the middle to be able to feel the energy of people, to even be able to pick it up, to be able to feel it from one to the other. Like we say, pass it back and forth from my mouth to yours. You know,
Morgan,
another thing is like
bro.
I know Morgan's awesome, dude.
Morgan's
awesome.
a badass, dude.
But I feel like the disease wants you to feel ashamed too. Like it wants you to not want to talk about it with people. Like keep it to yourself, and then you keep it to yourself, and that just builds up and snowballs, and then it'll just kill you. You know, it's good to you need to talk about it with people who also understand. You know what I mean?
But I just wanted to say, like the cool kids, they seem to get it because they all agree. I'll pretend like I get it. If you pretend you'll get it, okay, and they'll feel alone until you find me hanging in my garage one day, or with the car turned on and the doors all shut down. Why? Because I'm so alone with all these pretenders.
Yeah.
Pretending like we get along, because the cost is of being plastic. Well, I don't have any feelings. How about you? Nope. And then that Chris Isaac song comes to life. Nobody loves no one. The only one thing ever on my mind. You know,
he's got a good voice, man.
I know, but it's just it's so.
It's a haunting song, man.
Well,
and the video is haunting too, because the girl. There's no way you don't understand.
Let me ask this. Let me ask Rico.
She's obviously the figure of a woman, and they're not going any deeper than that in the song. And still, She can captivate your heart completely. But it's not just her, it's life. It's the rose
Right.
of life inviting us, saying, and when we feel that I'm going to cry, when we feel like we are not a part of that rose and she has not invited us either. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. Streets are ugly when you're down, when you're strange. Faces come out of the rain. He means ugly ones looking at you like, grr. No
Mm-hmm.
one remembers your name when you're strange. And it means, even though it's how we all feel inside walking around like a bunch of individuals, I mean, what they're doing now, not communicating, not communicating, not communicating. Because that's how you get to be strange, by not communicating. Yeah,
Right.
you figure out in a town where you know your neighbor's name because you went over there and you met him to smoke a doobie. Hey, we're neighbors. It's thought maybe, do you smoke? Well, yeah, I do actually. No, I hide it. I don't have to hide anymore. This is great. But the other guy used to be here. Oh, he complained. I'd have to put things up in the register. Oh, no more doing that. Oh, great, man. Oh, hey, what do you need some? I've got something. You want to come? Oh, this is great. We could even trade. Oh, sure, why not? You know what I'm saying? That little conversation takes place, and it's cool, man. And it's cool.
Right.
I love you too.
All right. Well, let me get hold on, Morgan. Let me get well, I know Rico wants to share something. He came on
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
reason. So I
Yeah, but just
definitely
whatever, man. You can do it whenever. It could go a
Well,
little
no,
at a time.
I mean, if you're comfortable enough to share something, go ahead, bro. The floor is yours.
Okay, sure. Man, I honestly I can't believe I'm doing this, but I love you guys so much. You guys have been there for me in some pretty dark times. So yeah, I don't think I've ever shared any of this like with anybody other than my wife. Can you see my wife? Right there. Can you see it? Is it too dark in here?
We can see that it's there.
Oh yeah. No, we can see. We can see.
Yeah, she's
Very
beautiful.
grateful.
She's my other savior. But
Awesome.
yeah, it felt
Yeah,
so
you
good
guys still
talking
can't,
to Brian and Jen last night that I was like, hey, let's do more of this. But just for a little background, I think ego is why I fell into this drug trap, like extreme ego. Like I'm definitely a broken dude now. Oh, thank you, Miss Mayes. I'm definitely a broken version of who I was, but I grew up I'm not going to go into my childhood because it's fucking dark, but I grew up, my mom was married 7 times and different levels of just abuse and moving around and just not being able to make connections and really hold on to them, I think is what set me up for what really brought me down. But I stayed pretty clean. I mean, I tried pot and everything in high school, but I had a 3.88 GPA. I did really well in everything I did. I was a drummer. I played drums since I was 9. I got my first touring band around 19. We immediately got signed to an indie label, immediately started touring. Still not partying that much. Met my first wife. She was a model, which to me, I was like, oh my God, I'm following in. Probably my only real father figure was books about Tommy Lee and people like that. Like, just worst. I mean, look at my arms. Just fell into this trap that I didn't even see being set. And I mean, everything was going really good, man. And I started dabbling in drugs. Like I would do cocaine.
Yep.
And I wouldn't want
to there because it's there.
Well, yeah. And you're not.
It's at the session. It's at the session of the music. Hey, did you want? Oh no, I will tonight. We're going late. Sure, why not? Yeah.
Yep. And my brothers were already high school dropouts, kids. I just thought somehow I rose above what I came from, and and I thought that for a while. Got into ecstasy. I had such an ego about I just don't have an addictive personality. I can take it or leave it, but it's fun, especially when you're hooking up on tour. I was a shithead, by the way. I cheated on that wife. I was a shithead. There's no way I could be roommates with that me. No way I could live with who I was. But it just never got too bad. And then the problem with cocaine is you can't sleep, but you got to wake up for sound check, and you just feel like shit, and you're not playing that well, and you're moody. So someone introduced heroin to snort. That way, at the end of the night, you could crash. So you're not up all night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the perfect ending to a cocaine night.
You
Well,
don't usually do the one unless you have the other. It's like, oh crap, why did I do that when I didn't have the other?
Yeah, you need that for the come down.
yeah.
We called it landing gear. Landing gear.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get you up to present as quick as possible without being self-indulgent, but I'm not going to say it on a live stream, but if any of you email me, I'll tell you which band. But we were opening for a band everyone here knows, and one night the drummer,
Our Lady Peace.
Yep, nailed it.
What? I saw Our Lady Peace. I seen them in Boston when they played in Cambridge.
He's joking.
Dude, I see.
I'm kidding.
I
It was
seen
a joke
them.
because he understood that I was saying it because it was a universal.
Let's let Rico get his story out.
Okay. So the drummer who I looked up to, he's what I was aiming for. One night he was like, "Man, you're wasting the shit out of your money." And he had a rig, a needle, and I couldn't even look the first time. Like, I hated needles that bad. Well, ones that go that deep. Obviously, I have tattoos, but I let them hit me, and next thing you know, I'm probably around 24 at this point. Like, I really went for a long time with like dabbling without fucking up, which built my ego to the point of I would shoot up.
Mm-hmm.
Once that happened, things started getting bad. My best friend, who knew nothing about drums, he was my drum tech. I hired him and trained him how to set up and tune my drums. Like, I brought him along for the ride, like really close friend. We both got really heavy into it and about the same pace. Like, the problem was I was making way more than him, but we had the same habit. And so when he got really bad, I had a cymbal sponsor, Zildjian, and they would send 3 of every cymbal because I would crack them, and they're in Canada, so it takes a while to send the cymbal there and get it back. So I had to have several. Well, one day I cracked my hi-hat, and I went to look for one, and there was none there. And he was stealing gear and pawning it for his habit. So we had to fire him and send him home, and he went to his mom's in Memphis and OD'd that week. So that was the beginning of the end for me. Like, any kind of like semblance of being just a functioning drug addict on tour. Like, I was so bad that I was so dope sick I could barely play. Like, oh, and by the way, not all the guys, like those guys would smoke pot and drink once in a while. Because of my childhood, I think I was the guy that got out there. Like, I was an embarrassment. So fucked up. Fast forward quite a while down the road, I ended up getting fired. Ended up in a few other bands, but really try not to be self-indulgent. There's so much I could tell you about that period, but I ended up just kind of going down to the level of just playing in local bands. And nothing wrong with cover bands. Like, if anybody wants to start a truth or cover band with me today, I would do it. So I'm not dissing on that, but I ended up going from, opening up for my favorite bands and, having everything I want to just next to nothing. And luckily, at one of those smaller punk rock shows with a punk rock band that I'm still very proud of. All my music's online if anybody wants links to the old stuff or anything I'm talking about. But to like being proud of having 100 people at a show, like just really leveled out. And I met her, and we got pregnant with my daughter, and that changed everything. I had one relapse after that. That was 2014. And even though I won't say like waking up and finding flat earth fixed it, I definitely think it caused the next relapse not to happen, because I've got almost 7 years, and the year after I got clean is when I woke up. to flat Earth and everything. My brothers, I know there's not a lot of context here. I keep forgetting you guys haven't all heard what I said last night, but especially my younger brother, one of the stepdads that came after me, you know what, I don't feel comfortable talking about that, but he had it worse than even me. So he was just broken. They got into drugs on their own. It had nothing to do with me. Can someone else talk for a second?
Yeah, man, no problem. No problem, brother. No problem. Just know we got a lot of love for you, brother, so it's all good. Ray, so
Yeah,
what's up, brother? I know, damn, you remind me of friends I grew up with and stuff, you know, so I'm sure you can
I just
share
want to say
some
that,
stories.
yeah, well, first of all, Rico's story hit so many synchronicities with me. Like when he was talking about like what he mentioned, like how the first time he used the needle, someone did it for him. You know what I'm saying? That happened to me too. And like a lot of the things he was saying, I resonated with. So I know how he feels. Sometimes you just got to take a break and rethink about what you want to say.
It's a lot of courage. It's a lot of courage to even do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it takes a lot. So I really appreciate every single one of you for coming on here and even having this discussion, you know, with us. It shows a lot of character in you guys, you know.
And when he was talking about like he did coke, I did a lot of coke too, man. And it was like more like when we would drink, we would at the end of the night we'd want to stay up for like till the next day. Like we'd stay up for the whole weekend, so we'd do coke at the end of the night, and then it turned into it became a problem. But I never really got addicted to it because I never really liked the way it made me feel. I never liked feeling all jumpy and like I lay in bed and I'd be spinning around all night trying to sleep. Like I call it the 360 spin. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to get comfortable all night, and you're like, and then you need landing gear sometimes, and then it's not good for your heart. You know what I mean? So I didn't really like that, but like I was working at UPS, man. This is how it started, man. I was unloading trucks all night, like 16 wheelers. Like they'd come in and be like, "You're moving 700 packages. We want you moving 1,000 packages an hour. You need to ramp it up 300 packages so you could punch out and get out earlier." So I started having back pains, man. Like after work, and by the time it was 4:30 till 9 a.m. So I'd get out and it would be daylight, and I'd be driving home with fucking back pain, and I'd want to go to sleep after work. You know what I mean? So that's when the OCs started coming around, the 80s. In the 40s and the 20s and 10s. They had a bunch of different ones, and then I started taking them to help me sleep after work. And I'd take other ones like Perks or Vicodin or morphine. Or I would always have something for after work. Then it became a thing like I wasn't addicted, but I was like, I look forward to it. I'd be like, dude, I'll go to work, I'll bang out like 12 things, 12 trucks, and then after work I'll do that, and then I'll go home and feel nice and fall asleep, And then I started noticing at first, my body started feeling cold on days I didn't have it. Like I started getting chills. I wasn't really sick, but I never knew what the sickness felt like. So I didn't really know if I was getting sick, but I started noticing first my bones started feeling cold, man. My body, like I don't know, I started getting chills and sweats.
I got told I was dope sick when I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing, and I was like sick as fuck, and I'm telling my buddy about it, and I was getting pills from him, and he's like listing off all the symptoms, and he's like, "Oh, you're dope sick. Here, you need a pill." I'm like, "What?" Because I didn't know anything about it at all.
Yeah, and what was happening was like, how you were talking about those pill mills in Florida, like where you're at. So all my friends were driving down to Florida and going to them things and coming back with like big bags of OCs. So for a while, everyone was good. Everyone had them. The guy my neighborhood down the street had them. The guy up the street. If we needed one in the morning, we'd go up the street and get one, or we'd go talk to the dude on the corner and he'd have them. But then after they closed those places down and they got more, they're not as prevalent as they were, right? They're still around, right? But they're not as big. So they started busting all those doctors. They're all like foreign with their wife. Like a lot of them, they're like, if you notice, they all look the same. They all, it's a guy and his wife, a guy and his wife, a guy, and it's like they always keep busting them. So anyway, then in Boston, what happened was people started robbing pharmacies for a while, but it didn't last that long, you know. But
did you see Oxymorons, the documentary about Boston?
Yeah, Boston was ground zero.
I haven't
Boston,
seen it.
I know. I actually know a few people that were in that, but yeah. So no, I do. I remember when they filmed it. I remember when they filmed it and they were talking about it being in it and stuff. Yeah, but yeah, that because Boston was ground zero for robbing pharmacies. And my friends would go into the pharmacy with a syringe and say, "This is an AIDS syringe. Give me all the Vicodin. Yeah, give me everything. Put it all in the bag, you know." And
Dude,
then
I knew that you would also know. Put it this way, he was opening for Soundgarden at an amphitheater. He got kicked out of the band. You could research. You'll figure it out. I just don't want to trash anybody. But he went into a pharmacy with just his. At the time, it was a BlackBerry, and wrote out, "I have a bomb. Give me your oxy." Like, and it worked. I mean,
people got so sick that they didn't give a fuck.
That shit hurt.
Yeah,
just like
my cousin,
just whatever. Just
my cousin, he went to prison. My cousin went to prison for going through a bank drive-through with a shoebox, and he had a watch, and he stuck it in clay. He had like wires in a box. And he like came out the window saying, "Give me all your money, or I'm gonna blow myself up right here," you know. And they gave him money and shit. I remember
Dude,
I was very young. He was a crackhead.
Yeah,
shout out. My cousin.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
Dude, one of my friends was on Mass Most Wanted, the top 10. He's still on the website. It's still up, and he was there for stealing carts of baby formula because all of the bodegas were buying baby formula for half price. All right, and so he was just going in the Stop and Shop, and he would line the cart with toilet paper around the cart, and in the middle he would stick all the baby formula, and he'd put something over it and just push it out the front door, a cart full of baby formula. And then the Boston police commissioner was in line with him just buying food one day, and it was like the commissioner, dude. He chased him out and he busted his ass, and he was on Mass Most Wanted.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
hey, Morgan,
he was all jumped. Yeah.
Morgan, is it the lighting, or do you look like Christopher from The Sopranos?
You got me.
I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I look like a lot of people and things like that. So I'm used to anywhere I go, somebody will always, for one reason or another. And with elderly people, it's usually because they saw me on the other side, and they're like, "I know you. You're there. You're there." And I mean, it happened so many times. I stopped arguing it the first few times, and then I realized that I actually must be. So I have a bit of a piece about it too, right? And so, and the thing is, there's no denying it. And the thing that's trippy is, if I try, they'll be like, no, and start telling me stuff that's correct. So that's how come I thought, no, I figure it is me on the other. When they cross over, I'm in both places.
Well, you had problems with addiction because you never got over what happened to Adriana.
You had to watch the show to get that.
Speaking of what you're talking
it's so
about,
cool. It's so cool you involved me in what you were doing. I love that. I was chosen, everyone.
Speaking of what you were talking about by
man, for real.
Oxycontin Highway to Florida before they deregulated, it's super obvious. Have you ever seen how many of the members of Bush Jr.'s cabinet were in Big Pharma, and how they invaded Afghanistan? They surrounded the poppy fields. What they did is they deregulated. All these pain clinics popped up. They got everyone strung out on all these drugs, right? Then they made it really hard to not get kicked out of the pain clinic. So what happens when you get kicked out? On the street, and OxyContin's like $80 or a $20 bag of heroin. and they had the heroin ready to go. If you can't connect those dots, you're blind. That
Blind
was
as fuck.
Have you guys seen Dope Sick? I can't believe something
I
that
love that
means.
show. I love that
Yeah,
show,
I can't
man.
believe
It's a
how
great
honest
show.
it is.
It
Usually,
right, yo. That's what me and my wife were saying. Yo, they're keeping it real, like big time in
Yeah.
that show, man. I loved it.
Usually, there's always like a bend on it for
Yeah.
for normies, but
Like
I
they're
was like,
making that company look evil, dude, and I love it. I love because that's what happened, man. It's
oh yeah,
it's disgusting, you know.
those
I seen so
families,
many
they
of my
don't-
friends dying. They were dying left and right. They had the heroin set up. You know, when you take away the pill mill, when you pull those pills away from people, you create this void, this vacuum. And then they had the heroin right in place.
Yep.
You know, that's the reason the military is guarding poppy fields over there. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
like, come on, let's go. And it's like, oh, weapons of mass destruction and oil and this. No, it's the drugs, homie.
Yeah.
It's the drugs.
You hit the nail on the head, dude. They started that whole 9/11 to start the war, to get the opiates, and
They
come
were
back
over there
here.
picking up the fields,
and kill
man,
us.
telling them, buying them, saying you're not making anything else anymore but H. And here are guys.
Well, it was multiple birds with one stone for sure. 9/11.
Right.
I mean,
When
I
you find
think it was more
Bossman
about
in the
the.
old pictures. Oh, there's
I'm not
Bossman.
saying
There's
that's
there.
the reason for 9/11,
Bossman.
but
No, there's so many
Okay.
reasons for it, but that's one of the things they did with it was they made the opioid crisis.
I mean,
and
the
you
number
know,
one reason
so I
is-
seen a lot of my friends die from that. You know, like the filling that void in with heroin and it making it so much cheaper because the price of pills went up 30, 40 a piece. You know, like it went more than $1 a milligram. It was insane. You know,
Dude, we
And-
were paying 80 for an 80, dude. That's how much they costed back here. And then I know they were really cheap in Florida because I heard the kids telling me like what they were paying. And
it went to Roxy's for us. Roxy's was the thing.
yeah, the blue
you know?
the blue ones, right? The perks, the 30s.
Right. The 30s, yeah.
I know what
Did
you're
any of
saying.
you
Yep.
Did any of you
Go
guys
ahead.
had the misfortune of going down the Opana road? That it was like 4 times stronger than
The OPs?
Opana. No, I don't.
OPs, I heard of those.
Opana.
Yeah.
No.
Look it up. It's like way stronger than Oxy. It's one of those things that 2 seconds. I'll make sure my daughter's not in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Well, one time my buddy had some OCs that were like foreign. They were from like another country.
right.
So they were like 40s, but they didn't say OC. They said like 3 different letters, and they were real. It was weird. It was crazy.
Okay, these were so strong that, man, I was. I'm really grateful. I don't have it in me to like hurt anybody or to rob anybody, but I was so dope sick. Sometimes I was like, man, anybody with less morals, like this is scary. Like I would not ever think about even going as far as planning it, going, man, I could break into a pharmacy. I could do something to get out of this pain. I mean, I would say this to people. I had a couple of metaphors. One is like being that dope sick is like putting your hand on a hot stove and not removing it.
Yeah.
What I like better
Ice-
is having to take a really painful shit, like one of those where you got the gas, you're just like in so much pain,
Oh,
and
yeah.
someone putting you in the bathroom and locking the door, and you not using the toilet. Like you're gonna get out of that pain somehow. Like with
Yeah.
stronger drugs, that makes you dangerous. You know.
Yeah, and that's
Sorry
that's
to all the
all- and
females
that's
in the
until
room.
you're completely out of all your liquids and can move, because there's the portion where, as you all know, where you're in that bathroom over the toilet and your mouth is over, if you have one, like otherwise you're in the shower with it on, because you can't hold your insides in at a certain point.
Yeah, you're gonna get out of pain. It's instinct.
Yeah, because there's nothing in your body anymore, not even water, because you're just dry heaving.
Oh, I know.
Looking for the substance in your body. You're honestly just sitting there doing that.
I was
That was
125 pounds, dude. I'm like 200 and something pounds now.
Yeah,
120
oh, yeah,
pounds,
me too.
exactly, Exactly. The weight
Is,
oh my God, until you're thin and you're standing and the breeze will knock you down and you're like, but you're mean still. Like cat in an alley mean. And
So like I was saying about the pharmacies, after that was over, they started bringing heroin on the street. Like it was probably already on the street, but Like they ramped it up, dude. Like they couldn't get OCs anymore. Everyone was addicted. People were sick, and nobody cared. And then all of a sudden, all this heroin started flooding the streets, dude. Dudes were walking around with it in their mouths, like the dealers in Boston are on the street. You can go right on the corner, and they're walking around with it in their mouths still. And the Boston police karate chopped them in the mouth before they even say anything. They come up and just chop them in the throat. They're trained to do that. And then you can't swallow. You spit everything out because they're so good. They have like I seen this dude. He had like 16 bags in his mouth, and they wrap it in like a condom or like a latex glove because if you swallow
balloon.
baggies, they'll deteriorate in your stomach and that shit will fuck you up. But if you swallow latex, you can poop it out. So
Dude,
that's what they do.
I remember the first time I scored from like a Mexican guy that literally couldn't speak English at all. It was in Tijuana, and I was really new to heroin. I was really new to like some of the low places you go when you're an addict. Like really new to it, and I was like, I paid the money, and he popped a balloon out of his mouth. I was like, what the fuck?
You're lucky, my friend.
I had no
Yeah,
idea.
I seen some shit, dude. I was like, yo, can I get a bag? Dude's like, like throws up like 15. He's like, pick one.
No.
Like, what the fuck? Like, come on, dude. Like, what are you gonna do next time? Take it out of your ass? Like, Jesus.
The worst part is though, when you're dope sick, you would have taken that shit out of his ass. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll
If you're in
watch it.
jail,
Yep.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I used to get fentanyl patches, 120 milligrams, and I would chew them things like bubble gum, dude. I would like, I'd call my wife after picking them up. I'd be like, hey, I got your favorite flavor bubble gum.
Yeah.
And we cut them up in pieces and chew on them.
Fentanyl is what.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You suck the gel out of them. Out of the middle, you can cut them in half.
Close friends. You guys know who, I can say this because everybody knows, but you know who really let the bodies hit the floor? Everybody knows that song.
Yeah.
I'm really close to those guys and was really close to Dave. And fentanyl is what finally killed him, which I guess I shouldn't have said that because it was in the news as a enlarged heart. But he was a big Pantera fan, like huge Pantera fan, and never even mainlined anything. We partied a lot, but I wasn't there that night. But he was in Nashville rehearsing for Ozfest. And it wasn't Pantera. It was one of Phil's side projects. I'll tell you later. Anyway, he was on the bus.
It's all right,
he was
Bob.
on the bus and did a speedball of H that had fentanyl and cocaine in it, and that's how he actually died.
Yep.
There's fentanyl, and then there's this new. Well, the other one's called carfentanil. Carfentanil, you can't tell the difference. But it's elephant tranquilizer. The car one is for elephants. And if you get that, dude, it's a synthetic chemical. It doesn't come from opiates at all. No. They make it in a lab in China. And you get a hot spot of it, and it could kill you in a second. Like, it could take out an elephant, and they put it in everything now. So you got to be careful.
Well, it's what killed my little brother a couple months ago. That's fentanyl was in it. Man, speaking of that
car stuff is insane. By the way, that stuff that you're talking about.
Real opiates come from the morphine from the poppy flower, but then they have opiate agonists and they have opioids. Opioids aren't real opiates. Opiate agonists like Percocet, that's not a real opiate. Nope. Real opiates are like morphine, Vicodin. But this new stuff is completely different. Fentanyl is completely different, dude. It's China making it in a lab, dude. It's nothing. It has nothing to do with it. It affects the same part of your brain as an opiate. It feels like an opiate. It mimics an opiate, but it'll kill you. It's not made for humans,
Hey, before you go any further, Rico, hold on 1 second. Let me just introduce Derek. What's up, brother?
Hey, bud.
Can't hear you.
Are you retarded? You can't get this shit together before you go live? Asshole. I'm kidding. I couldn't do it either.
No, he always comes on and we can't hear him for some reason.
I was just going to say, one of the worst images I've ever seen is we had to unplug my little brother. He was actually just brain dead. And he had the pipes and they were artificially breathing him. And they said it was so we could, say our goodbyes before we unplug him, but it turned out it was more about his organs. Apparently, intravenous drug use doesn't affect what they can get for those. But either way, I didn't do it out of respect to my little brother, but I wanted to take video of that and just show it. I talk at colleges and stuff. I've been doing it for a while. There, I do some heavy fucking name dropping. That way, people will listen to me. And I just thought if I could show this video to people that were thinking about, how I said earlier that I had such an ego. I thought I'd be the one guy to try heroin and never, lose everything. If I could show him.
Yeah, man. I was the same way with the Roxys.
Watching him breathe like that, and then he wasn't even there. If I could just show that to people. Yeah, someone else talk. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, that's why, dude. That's why I couldn't go.
You never.
Well, that's why I couldn't go see my mom. There's a little bit of resentment. There was. I'm sure there probably. I mean, there still could be with my sister. I don't know. But there was resentment from my brother and sister and my father towards me, like upset with me because they're like, come see mom before they take her away, right? And it's like, are you fucking crazy? I can't see my dead mom. Like I'm already fucked, like yeah, I can't handle seeing her. And then talking to my sister and about it, she, then it upset her that I didn't show up, in time. Because I waited a couple hours. I didn't want to be there. I just couldn't see her lifeless.
No.
And
I feel you, man.
My sister tells me about it. We talk about it, and she's like, "Yeah, I wish I didn't see that. That because she has that seared into her head, seeing my mom lifeless, and yeah, and then you're not, you don't have the right state of mind, Death is fun. It's something. It's scary. Like it does make me like I had issues with it. I developed panic attacks from losing
all my
people.
friends died too, and it was fucked up, like everybody. And then after that, I started having night terrors, dude, and panic attacks.
Yeah.
And sleep paralysis. Do you get that?
Happened to me.
Paralysis comes with that too. The fear of death.
I have fibromyalgia, so I can't. I'm awake to it all. I'm awake like 24/7. I take naps during the day. I take like 4-hour naps here and there, dude. I don't know.
Hey, so let me we're gonna wrap it up here soon. Scott is on backstage, but let a couple of you go. Morgan and Derek, can I let you guys go? Is that good?
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you guys coming on.
Glad to help, to be an ear, man. Thank you for having me on.
Hell yeah,
really
man.
Needed that today, just to be heard, man, and felt. Thank you so much, Austin, and everybody.
Yeah, no problem, brother. Much love, man.
We spent so many years needing those crutches. It's nice to have what we can call now a support system. It's not necessarily a crutch, but we need to have a way to cope with all that shame and the guilt, and a way to cope with these feelings of relapse whenever we start to feel those triggers coming on. And that's why shows like this are so important.
Okay.
Sometimes it seems like we're making light and we're having a real good time reliving the glory days when we get all fucked up. But it's a way to sort of identify and come together and share those common experiences as a way to still cope and deal, but also serve as an example of how far we have come to this point. And I do want to make it a point to say right now that I'm pretty sure I have yet to break all those chains of addiction. I don't know that panic attack that I get, the onset when my bag runs low. I don't know that I could necessarily say
that. You smoke pot?
Yeah.
I can't. Every time I do it, man, all I could do is dwell on how the shitty things I've done. Like that's the first thing that pops in my head is dead people, and like I know
you just gotta. You know what? Remember, I think I have that fucking problem too. Like I think. And my wife would try to tell me that, and it's like, nah, weed wouldn't do that to me. Nah, man. Nah, but I think she's right,
It's
But
healthy for you. It cures cancer. It does all this. Yeah, it does.
yeah,
but
no, I
I
legalize
love to
it,
get
man,
high.
for sure.
I don't know that I would be able to call myself free of having broken free of that change because
I haven't either. I still drink.
Right.
Just so I'm being clear, I still drink. I still like very functional, but I'm not doing it to be social. You know what I mean? Like I'm definitely because I'm in pain.
and
In
there's
AA though,
I don't
in
want to lie to
AA,
anybody. If anybody asks me anything, I'll tell you the truth. Like I still swapping out addictions. You know, like I'm gonna make. I'm not free, so if I come off like some kind of like, here's my testimony and now I'm awesome, I don't want to. I definitely
Nah,
don't want to
man.
anybody, man.
We get it, man.
I am
For sure.
and
And you
I'm
know
addicted
what,
to you
Rico,
guys
bro?
now.
I
Like,
got
I'm not
so
kidding. I'm
much.
addicted to you guys. I go into
Yeah, yeah.
streams and I just can't wait for it. And not even on a decent level. Like I can't wait to talk to you guys in streams and the meetups I have locally, and you know, and Karen Bees and Angel for giving us that too. You know, that's amazing to be able to go and hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
And
I'm
it's
gonna make
better.
it to. I'm gonna make it to
Let
a
me,
meetup one day.
I didn't
let me,
realize how.
Sorry, let me just introduce Scott real quick. Scott, what's
Oh, I'm
up,
sorry.
brother? I actually forgot. Scott, you there?
Caw. Nothing.
so
Yo,
weird.
yo, yo.
Tonight we're
Speaking of-
having a lot of misconnections.
Yeah, it's probably Restream is probably trash.
Dude, I checked out everything. I was good to go. I had my new. I'm setting up an office so I can start streaming because I'm about to have
Nice.
all my teeth and I'm losing all my shutdown weight and ready to go.
Hell yeah,
Good.
dude. That'd be
That'll
cool
be
as fuck.
fun.
Yeah, I don't have any idea for like a show. I just want to like come on these more, you know.
Try
Hell
to
yeah,
make people
man.
make it so people can call in. Those are the coolest shows when you can call in and talk to
Yeah,
everybody.
man. This is the best right here.
I would love to have you on, Rico.
Okay, cool,
Hell
man.
yeah. I'll reach
I'm
out to
Cool.
you.
ready to
Miss
bounce
Maya
out
said the
myself.
same
I don't
thing.
want to take up too much more of your guys' time because I know Austin, you got places to be.
Yep. Yeah, I'm about to
So,
wrap it up.
I'm going
Okay.
to bounce out of here. I just wanted to know that it's still this balancing act ever since I was a child. This sort of empathic person being bounced with sort of this sociopathic person, right? My left hand's got one finger up, right? Because I don't give a fuck, and my right hand's got two, because man, I do. And I don't know how we all balance that shit out. But I love the chance to be able to come and hang out with all of you guys on a weekly basis and have you guys come hang out with us. It's really, really awesome. So thanks for having me on, Austin. Jeremy, thanks for coming to
Hell yeah.
hang out tonight. It was really good to finally get a chance to talk to you. It was really awesome.
Well,
Hey, thanks for being honest about
I
my
enjoy
speech
talking to
impediment.
you. And before you get out of here, because when you get out of here, that means I'll get out of here because I'm connected through you. I just wanted to take a moment and say thanks for all the people that came on. Much love to all of y'all. It takes a lot to get on here and talk about all of this. I still have a hard time with it. This is like my second time doing it. So just much props to all y'all. Much love to all of y'all. And I'll remember all of y'all in my prayers. Austin, thanks for having me. Josh, been nice hanging out with you.
Yeah,
You as
man.
well. You're welcome over on the Iron Realm anytime. That offer extends. It's sort of always out there. Our phone lines aren't necessarily always open, but you can always leave a message. It takes text messages. Again, having this support system with people that can at least have an idea of what you're going through. We come in here, we share sort of what assholes we used to be, because look, no matter what you're going through, we've probably done worse, or we've thought worse, or we've wanted to do worse. So don't think that there's nothing that you can't come and be like, look, dude, this is too much. Help me carry this shit, because that's what we're here for. In AA, they'll say it, man, you got to give it away to keep it. And that's what this is here. We're giving this shit away. This is what we've done to get this far. And sometimes it helps us to be able to help other people.
Oh,
So
yeah.
good as that feeling feels when you get that chance to help
Oh, yeah.
somebody, let us feel that too. If you need it, reach out. Let us help you. We would love the opportunity to feel what it feels like to help somebody else, because you got to give it
Most
away to keep
definitely.
it. So thanks.
Hell yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm sure I'll
I
catch
loved
you.
it.
I'll probably see you in the chats over there on THC here in just a few moments.
Hell yeah, 10 o'clock.
Kill
Thank
it.
you for coming on, guys, man. I love you guys. For real.
Love you
Appreciate
too,
it.
Austin.
Man, I love you
Ray,
guys so much.
Rico,
Yes.
all of you, Josh, Jeremy, like for real, this breaking the chains of addiction,
It's a good
it means
show,
a lot
dude.
to me. It means
It's
a lot, and this, like, the fellowship and everything that's going on in the chat and just the energy, that's
It's
something
amazing.
very special. Yeah, it is. It
Amazing.
is. So,
It's-
and
yeah.
it took all of us to do this, so I love all of you. Thank you for being here and being a part of this experience. And I can, we're definitely doing it again. I'm gonna make this like a series. We're gonna keep this
Cool.
going for sure.
dude, there's a lot
'Cause-
more to my story, and I'll come on again. So
Yeah,
do it
for sure,
again.
man. For sure.
Yeah.
I want this to be like a therapy. This was therapy for me. I need to get things off my chest, and this is a journey and an everyday thing for me. So, I deal with this, and knowing that there's other people out there, had the same past or experience, and understand where I'm coming from or what I've been through, that it means a lot, So thank
Can
you
I say
guys.
something?
Yes.
Anything you need me for, I bought like a brand new laptop and this, and I'm setting up an office, and my wife's like, okay, you've spent quite a bit of money. Are you going to actually do it? I'm like, I can't get the nerve. I've played festivals in front of thousands of people, but I can't get on in front of 34 people or whatever. Anything where it makes sense and you want me on, like even before I'm done with my grill, just hit me up, man. Now that I've broken through and done this, I think I could do
Hell
it
yeah,
now.
dude.
I kept getting people would be like, hey, anybody want to call in? I'd be like, nah, I just can't do it. But now that I've done it, thank you so much for having me on and you guys listening. And
I'll be reaching out to you for sure, man.
It,
Cool,
it
man.
gets easier.
Thank
It
you so
gets
much for
easier
having
every
me.
time you call. Every time you call, it gets easier.
All right.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
talked to
guys.
Brian. Okay.
No, go ahead. One more thing.
I was just
Go
going to
ahead.
say, I talked to Brian, but it was just audio last night, and that gave me the nerve for this. So it's like synchronicities. Listen to
Good, I
Brian's
love
show.
it.
You'll see. But
I
thank you
will,
so much.
definitely.
Love you guys. Nice meeting you both. Ray, thanks for all the reposts you do. I download them and watch them at work all the time,
Yeah.
like daily.
Oh, you mean
Yeah,
on Odyssey, the repost, or on
No. Okay, are
on
you not
YouTube?
Are you not Michelle L?
Yeah, that's my channel. Yeah.
Yeah, on YouTube. I don't have
Yeah.
enough of a signal to stream, so I have to download the night before on
Yeah.
YouTube Premium.
You mean when I mirror people's stuff, right? I mirror a lot of different people.
Yeah, I download them every night. So
I look for like documentaries. I like mirroring documentaries, man. The
Yeah.
ones that really show,
Yeah.
And I've been doing a lot of good ones, so
Cool.
people do enjoy it.
And Josh, good to meet you too. And thanks to everybody in chat. I've been seeing everything, but trying to stay focused.
Same. Yeah, you too, Rico.
All right, cool, man.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime. We are
Really?
so laid back over there. If you want to come and cut your teeth and get comfortable, we are the place to do it. 'cause
Cut my
we're gonna
lack of teeth.
you come on and you can shine in comparison to the rest of us. So
Yeah, I love
Cool.
Iron Realm Media, dude. Like, for real, you guys are awesome. You, Zach, Lucas, Walt, I love you guys. Cammy, great people.
Such a great show.
Cool. Man, I would love to, definitely. Like when it makes sense, Cool.
Yeah, anytime.
All right.
Really, the invitation's open. Thank you again, Austin. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Hell yeah, absolutely. And so let me just say this: 10 o'clock. I don't know if Mike is in the chat, but we got THC at 10 p.m. It's going to be his first show. 10 p.m. It's going to be a great time. About 45 minutes from now. Truther's Hour of Comedy. So it's going to be a great time. Yep. He's going to be on. He's going to have, he's going to be debuting his co-host, and I'm going to be his first guest. So it's going to be a good time. Come check it out. It's going to be a great time, and he's a really good guy. He's cool. I talk to him like every day. So, but yeah, thank you guys. Thank you everybody for coming on. It's been fun. It's been real. That's for sure. And we'll definitely be doing it again Sunday. On the Awaken Bake, we're gonna have James from Grounded Extracts. He's gonna be on kicking it with us. Possibly Miss Mays again if she gets up at the crack of dawn. And then next Wednesday we're gonna have Free Flow on Vinny, part of the Kakalaki crew. He's gonna be on to talk about dinosaurs, so that's gonna be very cool. Very fucking cool.
That is cool. That is cool.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, that's about it, guys. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'll get that link and I'll drop it for the 10 o'clock show with Mike. But yeah, that's it, man. Thank you, guys. It's, you know, this is where it's at right here, guys. So thank you again, Jeremy, Josh, Ray, and Rico, everybody in the chat. Peace and love. All right.
All
When
right,
you
love
keep
you
it
guys.
real, you keep the real ones. All right, y'all.
Flat gang.
Flat
Boom,
gang, baby.
baby. Boom.
See, I'm checking out the microphone right now, because I want to make sure you hear me. I pledge allegiance to the funk of the universal unfolding, that I may be free to express myself to the fullest. Grant me that I may inherit from you an abundance of love, peace, joy, and happiness. It's time that we make a change for the spiritual oneness. Don't you be one? Don't you want to be? Don't you want to be one with the spirit? I mean, that is the purpose of life. Didn't you know? Find your spirit, connect yourself within, then all the life problems will come to an end. The voices speak loud. No, you're not crazy. You're not losing your mind. That's right. It's called a spiritual oneness, baby. Connect. Get tight. Starlight, star bright. How I
the seed, consult the weed, be wise of deed, hack the holy feet. The love is real. Yeah, man, the love is real. Inhale the wisdom, beat the system, the mellow dome. No place like home. The love is real. The love is real. We're not alone in the mellow dome. The best souls roll, we set the tone. The love is real. The love is real. Connect to the flow, then you will know. Feeling rebound, truth taking form, and the love is real. Raise the vibration, create the sensation. Let's meditation or emancipation, yeah. The creation in the mellow dome. Never alone. Welcome home. The love is real. Yeah, free your mind with the mellow dome.
If you keep it real, you keep the real ones.